So I have here a massive mug of English classic tea to talk about something that I've wanted to for a while. It's not a secret that while I adore the Digimon TCG, I am very much a casual player. This is mostly due to commitment and how I prioritize my playing. I have let down my local game store, Brotherhood Games, a little bit lately, just because work it's just been busy. So I prioritize that and seeing my family and friends where I can over coming in and playing Digimon. By the way, if you're in London, it is the best place to buy singles. Brotherhood Games in London, just let you know. Every now and again, I do find the time to actually go and play the game, whether that's pre-release or just a local tournament night. Every now and again, I find time to play. Now, because I'm not prioritizing actually playing this game, because I'm not paying attention to the meta, I am not winning these tournaments, but I do manage to win games because there are a few tips and tricks that I have picked up while playing casually, which means that, I just don't lose every game I play. I do win some. And while sometimes that is due to me being lucky or the other player bricking really badly, sometimes it is just my deck doing the things that my deck does and me playing the strengths to that, which allows me to win. And I wanted to share some of those things that I've picked up to help beginners, especially beginners, to help them really get into the TCG while they're deciding whether to take this game seriously and keep going with it, or, actually they find it's not for them and go play something else. When it comes to actually getting good, there's no other solution than to just put in the hours and do your research. You've got to do the grinding. You just got to practice, do research on the best meta decks, and eventually you will get better and better and better and start winning tournaments and start winning big regionals, etc, etc. You just got to put in the time. But if you're a beginner, you don't really want to be doing that because you're not quite sure whether the game is for you yet, but you don't want to just go in blindly, or you find yourself this game's really frustrating because the other player isn't helping you, etc, etc. So the first thing really is to know, what is your deck doing? I know it sounds a bit weird, but what is the win condition of your deck? You might not have time to research all the other decks that you might be playing up against. I would recommend learning the win condition of your deck and learning what your deck does best. Because sometimes you just playing to the strengths of your deck and even just ignoring what the other player is doing, the other player could possibly just brick. Or your deck, because it's so strong and you're just playing to the strengths of your deck, is just a meta counter to what they're doing, and you could just get a win that way. So, for example, I have here my red hybrid deck. If I didn't know what the enemy player is doing, I'm just gonna do what Ancient Grey does. So you're gonna wanna, hold on, where's the little boy with piercing? Where is he? Come here, child. Come here. I have 4 of them. Where are you? No, I do need that. Here we go. Sometimes, I don't know what the other deck is doing, and I've just gotta do what my deck does. And if I can, do the most optimal play. So, build up my boss monster. So a little Flamemon with piercing, Agunimon, Aldermon with the no option check inheritable, Digivolve for 3 because of the Agunimon, get rid of all of their security, and then Blitz Omni for game. That's the most ideal play for this Ancient Grey deck. That's the line that I want to happen. While that doesn't happen all the time, because bricking is a thing, sometimes it just does, and there's not much the other player can do about it, unless they put out, blockers that while my piercing can get through, my Blitz Omni isn't going to be able to get through. And, they can do things to counter the deck, for sure. Memory choke me so I can't do those plays, etc, etc. Sometimes they can't, and sometimes my deck will just do what it does best and it will give me the win. Speaking of memory choking, that is something that you should be doing as a new player. What that means is that I've got 1 memory, right? I've got 1 memory, and there's a couple of things that I could do. I could either place this down and give them 2 and search out what I need, or I could Digivolve for 2, put them to 1 instead, get my draw off the Digivolve, and then hopefully next turn I can pick up the piece they need. And they might then have to pass me 2 or 3 because I've only given them 1. And then therefore I'm in a stronger position next turn and I've got more memory to do what I need to do, while the previous turn I've only given them 1 memory. Memory choking, that's what it means to memory choke, is only give your opponent as little memory as possible so they can't do the plays that they need to do to be able to get their own win condition for their own deck. The more memory they have, the more things they can do their turn, and if they're a more experienced player, they're gonna know what to do with that memory. However, sometimes early game, you might not have much going for you, and you know what? Sometimes just putting down a memory tamer so you can secure yourself 3 memory each turn might just be the play, especially if you recognize that the other player is bricking. And what I mean by bricking, if you're not familiar with that term, is if they're not getting the cards they need to be able to do their plays, especially if you're just in a friendly locals or whatever. Most players are quite vocal when they get frustrated at not being able to get the cards that they need. They'll huff and puff, like, I quite like that, oh, that's not what I need, or they'll pull faces when they're trying to work out what they want to do next. Or the very telltale sign is they'll just pass you 3 memory because they have nothing they can do, so they'll just pass turn. When that happens, it is pretty safe just to plop down a memory tamer, give them the memory because they actually don't have much to work with to actually use that memory. And when you get a memory tamer down, it guarantees you 3 memory each turn. That's plenty for this deck to do what it needs to do. So yeah, memory tamers early game sometimes actually is the play. Everyone wants to help each other learn. And if you're a beginner, just say you're a beginner and they'll help you through the plays. Everyone wants to help each other. So just say you're a beginner. What your opponent is doing, just ask them, watch what they're doing, ask what they're doing, so you can understand how that's going to affect your cards and what you can and can't do. And very quickly you'll pick up what you need to learn and kind of get a feel for the game and understand if this is the right game for you to keep going. I hope it is. I do love it, even if I can't always give it the love and attention that I want to give it just because of commitments. But a lot of the time it's just so fun to be able to plop cards down, play to the strengths of cards, to have certain cards be hit in security. A Gaia Force, for example, sometimes that's just so satisfying just for people to hit that in security. And then another one. Sometimes that has happened a couple of times because I'm pretty sure I run 4 in this deck because I'm a piece of shit and I love Gaia Force. Also, another thing, do not forget to draw off Digivolve. You know, when you Digivolve, make sure you draw your cards. That was something that I was forgetting a lot in the beginning, just because it's like habit. Just get into the habit of that, because having more draw and getting the draw power is essential to play this game, really any TCG, to be honest. But yeah, don't forget to draw when Digivolve. So that's it, really. A lot of these plays are very situational. Everything is very situational. There's certain times where you're going to want to play a high cost option card to get rid of a stack and give them a load of memory, because it's better to give them that memory and get rid of that stack before it OTKs you next turn. And other times, actually, that was a really bad idea because you've just given them a load of memory and they can just build up again and actually just kill you that turn because they had a Digimon out to build up on from. And yeah, giving them all that memory wasn't a good idea. You'll never know. It just comes with experience, and there's certain things that you're just going to have to learn while you're playing, understand what meta decks are, do your research, practice, all those things, etc., etc. Talk to people who really know a lot more about the game. Not me. I'm still learning. I'm always learning. I'm always learning. But I love this game and I'm always hungry to learn and learn more, especially, when work finally eases up a bit and I can actually give the time this game deserves and really start playing with it again. So I hope those have been helpful. Yeah, and I hope some of you really do start picking up to learn how to play this game. It is so much fun, especially if you love Digimon and you actually get to play with your favorite Digimon. It's so satisfying when you get plays off and you win games. And I really hope a lot of you do start playing. I am biased, but I couldn't recommend it more.